Hey there, how we doing, everyone? So first off, today is a very cold day in Kentucky again. Today it's about 26, 27 Fahrenheit, about -2, -3 Celsius. Um, really wanting that indoor gym, but like I was saying, I haven't really had a lot of time to work on it. I have made a little bit of progress. I'm kind of getting near the end of fabricating one of the first big main components, the vertical ladder. Um, and that'll join to some monkey bars, and then on the opposite side there'll be like a height adjustable bar, and there's also going to be like a main pull-up bar coming off the side of the monkey bars, and there's going to be a kickboxing station, and all kinds of stuff. But that's not what this video is about. I just figured I would kind of throw that out there. I didn't work out yesterday. Yesterday would normally have been my core day. The rotation I like to do is push, pull, and then there's a day that I haven't hit in a while because of my knee injury, and it's leg day. I actually do legs. I'm not one of those people that skips leg day, and I don't think you should either. Legs are some of the biggest muscle groups in your body. They burn tons of calories. So even if you don't want big leg muscles, but you're trying to get in shape, you're trying to burn body fat, training legs is a great way to positively influence that. But anyways, my normal rotation is push, pull, legs, core, rest day, skill day, rest day, repeat. And hopefully soon I can kind of get back into that rotation, that weekly rotation I normally do. But today is core day, and I skipped yesterday because I was feeling pretty sore. I didn't quite feel like I had recovered from my previous pull day, even though I had I had push day and I had the day off before that. But I guess I worked a little extra hard or something because I still felt sore. But today, despite the weather, I was able to get back outside, and it felt nice to get in this core day. This is a bit longer video than I like to make, but I think the reason why this video is a bit longer is because I've done something, that is one of the most helpful things that you can do in calisthenics for your own personal training, and that is I kind of played around a little bit. I had some appropriate for all audiences adult playtime. It's how I usually refer to skill day, and this was not skill day. This was core day, and I did have working sets today. But the main thing I played around with is the human flag. This is something I've really been struggling with. I used to be able to kick up to the top of a human flag and do a bit of a negative movement, and ever since I started using this outside gym, I haven't really been able to do that. There's a lot of things to consider, for why that may be. That could be the rung spacing on my vertical ladder outside. The vertical ladder I'm building inside is going to have a bit smaller rung spacing. We're going to see how that influences my performance. And then also, outside, if I really want to be able to properly, comfortably space my grip, I have to use the vertical bar there. And I've always struggled with vertical grip human flag. But today, actually, when I was playing around, I think I made some good discoveries that you'll see later on. It's things that I've tried before, but I don't think I put enough thought into them before. And today, during my playtime, when I was kind of playing around with the movements a little bit, I really found some things that I really liked how they felt, and I'm definitely going to be adding them to the toolbox. They made my shoulder feel great. And just remember this clip right here. This is when I first started. I've just finished the warm up, and this is my first attempt at the human flag position, for today. You can see how short and sweet that was. Position did not really feel good. Like I didn't feel strong. That could have partially been because the bar was a little bit slippery. It had some ice on it. But we're not here to make excuses. I didn't feel very strong in that, and so for whatever reason, I decided I'd go and try the vertical grip, which is something that I've always struggled with. I would argue it probably went a bit better than that first horizontal grip, but I still wasn't getting a whole lot of time under tension, especially on that side there. The right arm, right shoulder that I've struggled with so much did not feel good. So I said, okay, we'll go back to the horizontal grip, and that felt better, but I still wasn't able to hang on the best. And remember these clips here of my performance when I first got started with the human flag, compared to later on. When I'm more warmed up, I'm more in the zone, because it was a night and day comparison with how good things felt. And it was also a night and day comparison with my performance. But here I'm trying some negative front levers. Kind of just playing around a little bit with some different movements, seeing how things feel before I get into those working sets. I think this is back lever, which is something I'm pretty decent at. I'd like to think I can do a full back lever, or at least I'm very, very, very close to a full back lever. This movement's very interesting to do because when you're in that position, it'll feel like you have came down so much further than you've actually came down. Like even before I get level, before my body even gets level, as I'm still coming down from vertical, it feels like that I'm down past horizontal. It feels like I'm past horizontal and I'm starting to hang. And, that's not true at all. Like I haven't even made it to horizontal yet. So it's a very confusing position. Here I tried some tucked lever pull-ups. And I think here's actually where I'm getting into the working sets. So I've been doing pretty good on my leg raises on the parallel bars. So today I thought I'd throw a variable into the mix, and I'd try them on the rings. And man, this really added some difficulty to things. But I really, really liked this, and I think I'm going to keep working them on the rings. I definitely couldn't reach that 12 rep count with full leg raises. I had to bridge down to the knee raises. Something to keep in mind when you do this position, whether you're on the rings or on the bar or whatever you're doing, is to make sure that you don't sink into your shoulders. So you'll start out in good position, good posture, and as you start to fatigue, if you feel yourself starting to sink into your shoulders, if you think your shoulders are coming up closer to your ears, that is a big no-no, and you need to drop to an easier progression or just stop and rest, because you're not having your shoulders in the correct position, and that puts a lot of pressure in places you don't need it, and that can lead to injury. So if you feel yourself starting to sink into your shoulders, it's time to call it. I think that was a big influential factor as to why I dropped from the full leg raise to the knee raise. And now, despite how this may look, this band is not actually in my groin. Probably looking at this clip and you're like, man, how is he How's he putting the band like that comfortably? If you'll notice when the clip first starts, and then also in some clips that follow here, um, I take my time and I carefully position the band to either side of my groin, so all the the resistance that the band is putting onto my person is actually going into my thigh, not into my groin. Um, but you can also notice in these clips how much better my performance on the human flag is. Given I have a band, but I promise you that band is not doing anywhere near as much as it looks. Anywhere near as much as it looks like it is. I think I was just more warmed up here, and this is kind of where my mind started wandering places, and I was like, I'm going to try this vertical grip with the band, and we'll see how that goes. This is something I've always loved about calisthenics is, you can just kind of play around and, make new discoveries. And, that's, like I said, that's one of the most important skills and one of the most important things that you can have in your mind to evolve in your calisthenics journey is taking time to play with different positions, play with different progressions. Look at that. I didn't hang on to it for a long time, but I was getting some good time under tension there. Switching the band to the other side, putting the pressure on the other thigh. I was so thankful that I tried this. I'm actually getting to train some human flag again, and not only am I getting to train some human flag again, but I'm training it with the grip that I've always struggled with, and I feel like my performance on that was better than on the horizontal grip, when I first got started. So, I took that energy and I kept going. So this is another progression that I worked. Compare my performance in this attempt to the attempt that follows, and you'll see how much better I got at this movement in literally just 2 attempts. And I don't think that was, strength gains as much as it was neurologic gains, like me just learning how the position should feel. But I really, really love this building block, and this is definitely something I'm going to keep training. Because, not only are you practicing the human flag, but you're also training your shoulders to go from unengaged or disengaged to engaged. And I felt like this really helped my shoulder. See how much better my performance is right here compared to the previous clip. I'm able to hold that quite a bit longer. I know it still doesn't look like it's a really long time, but I promise you, milliseconds in that position under that much pressure is really putting a lot of work on your muscles. This felt good on the shoulder. This felt, like I was actually able to train some human flag for once. Like everything felt like I've always wanted it to feel like, and this is definitely something that I'll keep training. I liked this exercise so much. I think I normally hit 2 sets on stuff, and I think in total I ended up hitting like 4 sets. And that's partially why the video is a bit longer today. I think my performance progresses even a bit further here. I'm trying to just hang in that position, and it was just mind-blowing to see, or to feel from my perspective, but to feel how much my performance had increased in just a matter of minutes. And I think I was getting warmed up, and I was also, you just have to find the right building block. You have to find the right variations of all these skills that you see people train, because we're all different people. We're all unique, and all of our bodies, they like certain things and they don't like certain things. And it's our job to kind of play around with these positions And we have to see what works for each of us, because none of us are the same. So these things that that you see me do, that I like, that work good for me, they may not work well at all for you, or vice versa. But here I'm getting back into the back extensions like I used to do them before I injured my knee, and that's with a 10-pound medicine ball. It's adding some leverage to the knee, but at this point in time, my knee is definitely not 100%, but it is, I'm more than confident that it can withstand the pressure that it's getting put on it in this position. I was talking a little bit about earlier about how I used to do leg day, and right now my leg day is at physical therapy, and I'm hoping here in the near future I'll be able to start training leg days again. I'll go back into it very slowly. You won't see my first leg day video. You won't see me doing like pistol squats or anything. Because that's how you get injured. But anyways, here at the end of this video, I figured I would try some of the things that I used to do. These were, working sets that I used to do long ago, and I just wanted to see how they felt. I called this like an around the world. It's to hit your obliques, and it's a very challenging exercise. And I always say if you don't use it, you lose it. And that's definitely true. Those are kind of window wipers, or at least that's how I think of them. That's definitely true, but I was thankful I still had quite a bit of strength in these positions, but I was training them because I wanted to, I played with the thought of adding them back into my workout, but I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. I'm just trying to find some exercises for core day, that will help me build a human flag, that will help me build a front lever, that will help me keep getting better at the back lever. I want to find exercises that will contribute to those skills, that I can do for working sets. I've really, really been wanting to do some sort of human flag variation as a working set. And I really liked the thing that I bragged so much about today that I discovered during playtime, just playing around. But I don't know, how much fatigue that is going to put into my core, compared to how much fatigue that's going to put into my shoulders. Now given, my shoulders felt very good in that position, but it did feel like that's where most of the effort was into the shoulders and my lats and my chest, depending on which arm we're talking about. And, that's not really the goal of core day. The goal of core day is to train, the core, and, push day and pull day, respectively, is, the days where we're training, like our shoulders and our chest and back and things like that. So, it's just something I had in mind. I'll definitely have to keep playing around with these positions and, see what I really want to do for working sets. I think we're coming to the end of the workout here. I'm just stretching out. Let me know your thoughts, and if you have any questions, let me know those as well. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this helps you all, and happy training. Bye-bye.